All right, welcome to today's explainer. Have you ever heard of the Perfume Islands? Well, if you're a focused learner eager to understand the fascinating, complex layers of our world without all the visual clutter, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're unpacking the deeply captivating reality of the Comoros Archipelago. We're pulling this journey directly from a really comprehensive overview by Associate Professor Dr. Apasavachayaplet-Sirivaddhanaravachara, and we're going to take all that deep historical and socioeconomic data and organize it right here, breaking down everything from the physical terrain to the modern geopolitical realities. Okay, let's dive right into this. Where exactly is the Comoros Archipelago? Because, before we can even begin to understand the rich history and the modern struggles of any nation, we really have to ground ourselves in its physical space. We're talking about a region nestled right in the Indian Ocean, strategically situated between the eastern coast of Africa and the island of Madagascar. It's a location that has historically made it this massive crossroads for humanity. And, as you'll see, that geography, it's basically destiny. So, here's our roadmap for today. First, the four diverse islands. Second, trade, colonization, and independence. Third, the Mayotte anomaly. Fourth, a spice-driven economy. And finally, culture amidst modern challenges. Let's start with Section 1, the four diverse islands, a geographic overview. The absolute core number to remember here is 4. The Comoros Archipelago consists of 4 primary, very distinct islands. And we aren't just talking about identical dots of sand floating out in the ocean. According to the research, you've got everything from an active volcano on Grande Comore to these lush, beautiful agricultural terraces on Anjouan. It's literally like a giant puzzle of beautifully diverse landscapes. And this physical diversity is absolutely crucial to keep in mind, right? Because it means different terrains, varying ecosystems, and unique local environments all packed into one single archipelago. This geographic foundation sets the stage for the whole shebang, from where early populations could actually settle to exactly what kinds of crops they could grow just to survive. Moving on to Section 2, trade, colonization, and independence. Centuries of transformation. Let's move chronologically and see how this builds across our timeline. Because the story of Comoros is fundamentally a story of arrivals. It kicks off in the early era with settlement by its first inhabitants, people who navigated the Indian Ocean to find a home in these diverse landscapes. Then we see the arrival and profound influence of Arab traders. They completely integrated their culture, religion, and commerce into the fabric of the islands. Then came the colonial era. We initially see Portuguese exploration making its mark before the whole archipelago ultimately fell under French colonization. And finally, this timeline culminates in the year 1975, which marked a highly complex path to independence. Just think about how many different cultures, languages, and economic systems were layered over those 4 islands just to get to the modern era. It's incredible. That brings us to Section 3, the Mayotte anomaly, a fractured independence. So, when that push for independence finally culminated in 1975, the archipelago did not actually move forward as one unified nation. And this brilliantly illustrates the fracture. Look at this. 3 islands formed the newly independent Comoros, while Mayotte, the single island separated here, followed a completely different path and remained under French rule. This fractured independence created a massive geopolitical anomaly. It is a deep, ongoing reality that heavily impacts migration patterns and international relations within the archipelago to this very day. You literally have one geographic family split by 2 completely different political realities. Let's jump to Section 4, a spice-driven economy with agriculture at the core. Now, you might be wondering, despite the massive historical complexities and those political divides we just talked about, what keeps the wheels turning? Well, the foundation of their modern economy is surprisingly singular. They rely heavily on spice exports. We're talking about high-value crops anchoring this economy, specifically vanilla, cloves, and ylang-ylang. The entire economic survival of the independent Comoros remains tethered to this specific agricultural industry, which, if you think about it, draws a direct line right back to that historical Arab trade era we saw earlier. Now, what's really interesting about this is the contrast. The idea of a quote-unquote spice-driven economy carries this romantic historical allure of exotic global trade routes, right? But the everyday reality? It's precarious. Notice this balancing act. Having a predominantly agricultural base tethered so tightly to weather-dependent spice exports leaves them incredibly vulnerable to climate shocks. Think about cyclones wiping out an entire season's vanilla crop. Actually, it's a super tough spot to be in, and consequently, the sources point out that Comoros is facing severe, ongoing economic struggles. It's this delicate process of trying to leverage the natural resources of their diverse landscapes while desperately trying to build long-term economic stability in a highly volatile global market. And finally, Section 5, Culture Amidst Modern Challenges, Resilience and Reality. So the crucial point here is this profound duality that really defines the modern Comoros experience. On the one hand, centuries of global arrivals have resulted in an immensely rich cultural heritage. We're talking unique language traditions, vibrant local literature. It's a true cultural melting pot. Yet, weighing directly against that cultural wealth are severe modern challenges. They're dealing with ongoing political instability and deep environmental threats to their coastlines and their crops. The nation is simultaneously trying to celebrate and preserve its beautiful, vibrant cultural identity while literally battling existential threats to its natural environment and striving for functional governance. Which brings us to our final and honestly most compelling question. How does a nation balancing such a rich heritage and deep geopolitical divides navigate its future on the global stage? When you have an economy intricately tied to fragile spice exports, an environment under serious threat, and an archipelago literally fractured by a 1975 independence vote, the path forward requires immense resilience. So, what should you take away from this? It's that geography, history, and economy are never isolated. They are deeply, deeply intertwined forces shaping the daily reality of millions of people. I really want you to ponder that question as you go about your day. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer on the Comoros Archipelago. Keep asking questions, keep seeking structure in the chaos, and I will see you on the next explainer.